What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a little alpha called Dungeon Settlers. I get the vibe that this one's really early along, like more of a tech demo, but the developers released a trailer for it, and it ended up doing really well and generating a lot of wish lists, and so they fired the game over to me now, seeing that there was public interest so that I could take a look at it. We could do a first impressions video and figure out whether or not it's the right game for you. So Dungeon Settlers, if you've never seen it before, is a mixture of rimworld and Darkest Dungeon. So if you think about like a very lightweight rimworld, something almost like Norland, I guess, like that level of rimworld complexity in terms of its colony building, and then you combine it with a dungeon crawler where all of your characters have XP, they level up, they get new skills, they have hotkeys, all that kind of stuff, with real-time combat that you've got push pause for, kind of somewhere midway in between like a procedural CRPG roguelike and rimworld. And I think that's kind of an interesting, compelling idea, so I figure we'll play for about 30 or 40 minutes. We'll see if it's a game that you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games that's just not for you. That's also perfectly fine. I've got a link for you down below in the description that'll take you over to the Steam page, and then from there, I've got a whole bunch of dope-ass links down there that you're more than welcome to give a click to, just in case you need a little bit more Splat in your life. So let's go ahead and start it on off. I'm gonna leave everything on normal right now. I'm gonna put on free save, but saves right now inside this demo. This demo, it's not publicly available. They're gonna have something much tighter for you by the time they get a demo up actually on Steam. But anyways, right now saves are a little bit sketchy with their current alpha build, and so just keep that in mind. Luckily, I don't think we're gonna be doing too much saving today, and so now we need to name our expedition. I will name my expedition Low Red Moon. That's one of my go-to names. There's Low Red Moon and there's Raven's Cry. Those are the two that I always use for like my mercenary and adventuring bands. Let's dive on into it. I do not need a tutorial because I prepared for this video. That's right, these are not blind impressions right now. I know, Splattercat being crazy out here and mixing things on up. As you whistle off beat, a crow slips from the thorn vines and perches on your arm. Its eyes glow blue, a gravelly voice breaking forth. Report, Expedition Commander. The crow tilts its head, unblinking. You claim the lower levels were safe, and clearly they're not. You explain the team's first scouting ended in a deadly encounter with the infamous red monster rat, leaving most of your companions slain. The inspector clicks his tongue. So scouting was worthless. I'll send you Kragus, a recruit. Establish a settlement under guild control and prepare to strike the beast before it spreads further ruin. One is nowhere near enough. Wait, the link is lost? Okay, so here we are at the beginning of the game. We've been given 3 adventurers, and they each come with like these nice little attractive anime portraits. I'm a big fan. This is not normally something that jumps out at me, but I very much like the styling of the portraits in this game. They've got a very quaint yet detailed, like you can tell what they are, but they're also kind of adhering to almost like a PS1 level of pixel art minimalism. I dig it. I don't know, it takes me back to the old days of gaming. We've got 3 adventurers right now. We have Lowell. He is a swordsman. We have Kragus, who is a lizard man that's really good at handing out the old saucy doinks. And then we've got Liana over here, who is our archer. Each of these characters has abilities, and when we get into combat, you're going to be kind of playing Baldur's Gate with them. They've got cooldowns, they've got like cast times and things like that to go after enemies, but for the moment, we kind of just need to hang out, prep, and prepare. So let's clear out a little bit of this fog of war. And now that we've got the fog of war sorted out, you will note that we are on an island in the middle of a greasy ocean. The first thing we really need to do is we need to check the caravan over here and see what it's got for us. So the caravan's got a number of items over here that it's dropped on the ground, everything from food to cogwheels to ointments. Your characters, they do have individual inventories where they can put all of their equipment and gear. You can also use this stuff right here in order to heal yourself if you get too wounded in combat. The health meters that you're seeing down here in the bottom, your characters are divided up into 2 separate HP stats. They've got their head HP and they've got their body HP. However, if either of those reaches 0, it's not a good thing for the expedition, so don't let that happen. For now, let's go ahead and gather up everything that we possibly can, and so I don't want to do too much mining for right now, but I will knock out like all of these trees, and then I will also harvest the caravan real quick just to make sure that we've got it on deck. We'll cancel that on out, and then I'm just going to let people ride. Nothing really happens automatic in this game. I think there's like AI controls or somewhere that I can set up with priorities and whatnot, but I think they're not implemented right now. So for the moment, we've just got utilitarian buttons where I just tell them to do everything manually. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We've got all of our trees chopped down. We've generally cleared out our starting area, and in just a minute, we're gonna get tight with the building, get ourselves like a little base going, and really at the beginning of the game, what we truly need to do is we need to dive in and we need to start dungeon crawling. Because inside this portal right here, there's going to be a whole bunch of resources that we just flat out cannot get on our island, thus making it really, really necessary for you to go dungeon diving. So as of right now, I don't actually have any supplements built. I know, we've got just bare basics out here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to kind of use this area that surrounds the portal as just a basic workshop area. We are going to need a workshop. The building animations and things are not inside of the game yet, but I would like to see incremental building where somebody's got to come over and actually like hammer together the bench on this side. Makes the game a little bit more immersive. And then on top of that, we are going to need a resource storage. So I'll put that right there. And then we'll also need a food storage before this goes any further. And what we should see is, after these are all built up, everybody should just kind of like drop off their stuff inside the crates. Now, as you can see, they're carrying everything on over to the crates. I love it when a plan comes together. This is going to be important. You really want to offload all of your stuff, because your characters also have encumbrance down here denoted on their inventory. So if they're carrying too many items, they get slowed down and they start to have a bad time. I know what you're thinking. It's time for us to dive into a dungeon, but actually it's not. Kragus is completely butt-ass naked right now. He's just hanging cheek to the breeze, and unfortunately, that means that he's actually going to get devastated if he goes into combat. So like, our first little start right here is that we've got enough wild long grass to make ourselves some textiles. I would suggest that we make ourselves, actually, I think I can set these up. No, that's with the more advanced benches, I think. So we'll add that to the plan, and then we'll go, there we go. We'll do until we have 10, and then I'm gonna need 2 hats, so we'll make 2 of the hats, and I think we're just gonna need 1 tunic so that we can equip our guys and get them ready for their first dungeon dive. On top of that, I don't know how many arrows Liana has. It looks like she's got 90, so that should be enough for our first dungeon dive. But let's wait for this to be done, and then it'll be time for us to brave danger in the unknown in order to get ourselves some more fat loot. And there you go, we just spit out our hats and our armor. At any time you can grab these guys and they're fully controllable. Oh, he's finishing something off. There we go. He wanted to make himself some underbritches. Let's have him put on his little hat right there, so he's just a lizard man in a bandana right now. Then from there, I think we've got to finish off his chest piece. Chest piece done, and these are going to be important because if you actually look at the stats that are denoted on the item card right here, it gives you 30 more HP, which is a not like when you've got 180 HP, a solid 16%, 17% more HP is really going to help out, and it was more than that because we got plus 60, and so that really gave us about 50% more HP on these characters before we go into the dungeon. Lowell still needs a hat, I think. So let's use the last of our fibers to whip off 1 more hat so that Lowell's nice and covered. The game's main quest wants me to make some arrows too, so I'll just add 1 plan for arrows real fast. Alright, arrows are done. We'll give those to Liana. And then it's time for us to dungeon dive. We have no cash right now. At any time, you can actually request more adventurers from the Adventurers Guild to come in and help you. Just like in RimWorld, they have like racial bonuses. They have a secondary bonus as to whether they're like an alcoholic or a gambler, or maybe they're good with money or something else like that. You can see their proficiencies on this side. So we've got a water mage over here. I'd be really interested in recruiting the water mage, actually. I haven't really got to do a whole lot with magic because I didn't really get any mages. I got somebody that was like super subclassed into it, but they were mostly focused on doing other things. And if you mouse over there's going to be different dungeons you can go into. But for right now, all we can really do is go into the Veil of Silence. The other thing we've got to watch out for before we dive into the dungeon is that everybody's sleepy right now. You can tell them all to go to sleep. I'm guessing later on in iterations of this game, it's going to be automated, where they'll just go sleep in beds and stuff like that. But for right now, they just have a button that says put them to sleep. And so, like I said, this game very much in a tech demo form right now, where they've got a bunch of workarounds in order to make the systems work, even though all the systems are not fully implemented yet. All right, we're rested enough, so I'm going to take everybody off sleep mode. And let's go ahead and dive down into the dungeon. We've only got 3 guys for this one. The last time I did this, the tutorial was at the beginning of it, and the tutorial ends with you getting a 4th guy for free. So we'll kind of see how this plays, but I think we should be All right, unless we get dinked super hard, into the dungeon we go. The dungeon is going to look exactly like the main game, except that this time around we don't have to worry about building anything. We can harvest and gather off of the dungeon map, which is going to be important because certain things like grass, meat, there's a number of things that we can't get unless we get them out of the dungeon. And so I'm going to send Kragus in first. Go ahead, Kragass, do your thing. We actually have that thing right there, hits like a truck. So we've got an ability called Stun Charge. I'm going to light that off. He's going to jump on into there. You take that spot on that side and go ahead and cleave those two. I'm going to put you on rapid fire so that the cooldown on your attacks is a lot faster. And there we go. You can see combat happening in real time. Now, Kragus is probably going to get chewed on pretty good right here. Yeah, his body health is already looking a little bit rough, so I'm going to pull him back, and we'll have him fall back this direction, and we'll kind of spread the damage around to other people. You go ahead and give them a big lateral slice, and once aggro's been transferred over to Lowell... Okay, Lowell's in rough shape. I don't want basic bow attack. I need you guys to kill that thing. See if you can stun it again. There we go. Keep that thing disabled for as long as possible because we're going to have to healing potion when we get out of here. There's one rat left. Rat's down, and that's our first combat concluded. If you need to, you can rest inside the dungeon and sleep, and your HP will come back. That's more than likely what I'll do right now because we're lacking a fourth guy at the moment. We have enough money to go get another guy the second we get out of the dungeon, but once we get there, we'll be all right. The goal of the game is to find the portal at the bottom of the dungeon, and when you get to that portal, you can either ante up and go to the next level of the dungeon, which is even harder, or you can go back to base. So a little bit of a roguelite mechanic right there too, where if you go into the dungeon and lose all your stuff, end up back on the surface, you kind of like build up with the resources you got and then go back down again later. Alright, everybody's all healed back up, so let's just have a look around for a second and see if there's anything in here that looks appealing to us. We have a number of people that are telling us they're hungry. The good news is we've got big old stacks of hardtack inside of here for everybody. So go ahead and eat your hardtack, eat your hardtack, eat your hardtack, and that should be plus 50 hunger to everybody. You can see their energy up there, but their hunger actually isn't on here either. I would like to see on these little... I don't know, like these tabards or these banners, I would like to see their hunger on there as well. That way you can just visually identify it real fast. Let's carry on to the next room. I'll worry about harvesting the dungeon off camera once we've all gotten ourselves in here. But let's keep an eye out for any threats that might want to throw down with us inside each of these chambers. I'll zoom out a little bit too so that you've got like a better view of the battlefield. I don't know how we're going to do against bosses with 3 guys. It may go well, it may go poorly. There's a number of bad guys down here. I don't know how many. It looks like some rats, actually. So you pull back over this way. You get back up over here. Yeah, you go up over there. I want you to stun charge the rat. I want... Oh my god. Did he just get critted for 150? Lowell, bro, you're getting absolutely starched right now, dude. All right, I want you pull in right here and then give him a cleave just to get us started with DPS real fast. You attack that one. You go back into rapid fire mode. I'm going to do my best with Kragass right now in order to make sure that he's stunning every single time it's off cooldown. You move back up this way, and then I'm going to need you to use a bomb real fast. We might get stomped a little bit here, but go ahead and just kill what you can kill. We'll worry about this guy in just a minute. I think he should go down. He's got a health potion on him right now, so we should be in decent shape. Oh, wow, he didn't die when his head went out. A redstone golem. Those things are tough, dude. They do drop mana, though, which is really, really nice. The mana is used for leveling up. So the mana in this game does not restore your mana. Instead, what it does is, when you go to level up, if we take a look at each of these character sheets right here, if you take a look, we've got XP. You don't level up automatically in this game. You have to make an offering to the goddess, and the offering is mana crystals. And depending on the size of the offering that you give to the goddess, that's how much she's going to give you boons. So if you give her, like, a huge offering of tons of mana, you're going to get way more stats, you're going to get way more points, you're going to get way more of everything. Whereas if you give her the bare minimum, all you're going to get out of it are the bare basic skills that you're going to find inside of here, which, by the way, I should probably apply those right now. We've got a sword counter right now. Okay, whenever you block a melee attack, we get counterattack. We've got vertical slash, which does 300% damage. I'll take that first, and then down here, we've also got supplementary abilities that you can get. He's got fortress. I would say let's get guard barrier because that gives us a shield that's equal to the amount of HP that we've kind of lost over the last little bit. And for her on bow, let's get arrow rain for the AoE. I think that would be really good. And then she's got her blitz tree over here. She can get flat 12% attack speed, or she can use, she can bulk shot. So she fires 2 arrows at a time and also deals damage to a nearby enemy. Okay, or sharpshooter. Let's go with just the flat attack speed for right now. I think that sounds spicy. And then we've got Cragass over here. With Cragass, I'd like him to get... Let's get Battle Stomp, because that's an AoE. Does 30% of his normal damage, but it does give them Disturbance and Dizziness, which I think make them less likely to hit me. There's no, like, expanding out thing right now that tells me what those actual status effects do, so I'll have to try it out. And then I'll probably have him specialize in shield handling. He doesn't have a shield right now, but he will soon. And once he does have a shield, I'll feel more comfortable about him having that. All right, guys, wakey, wakey, egg and bakey. Let's get down here. It looks like that reconnects to the side that we came in from. So we had a little bit of a loop back right there. Let's head north. There's another gateway right there and another gateway right there. I'm going to let them gather for a second, I think. And then once I've stripped this area down to its skivvies, I'll come back and we'll finish off the dungeon. All right, stripped it all. We've got food, we've got wood, we've got grasses. Let's send everybody in. And depending on how this goes, there's a rat over here. Let's go ahead and engage the rat. If we can get these guys isolated one by one, that would be the ideal situation. You go ahead and move over here, and we'll see where these guys stack up at. You go ahead and give them a battle charge real quick. Then I want you to light off your AoE. Oh, it's on Universal Global right now. Okay, finish him off with a vertical slash because that one's almost dead anyways, so who cares? Kragus is doing his thing. Go ahead and disorient everybody real fast, Kragus. Okay. So these guys have all been debuffed, which should help us out a little bit. As soon as his vertical slash comes back up, I'm going to want the vertical slash on this dude over here. I do think there's a lot of opportunities right now with the current build to get, like, much better spell effects. You're leaning into this aesthetic that people tend to really, really like. That sort of PS1 era graphics. And so, ooh, Kragus almost lost it right there, dude. He almost got took the hell out. Okay, well, I'll let him strip this area real fast for everything that's inside of it. Oh no, there's a spider over here, dude. Fight the oh, there's so many spiders. Okay, Kragus, go ahead and use an ointment. You move down to here. We are going to cancel all these orders real fast just to guarantee our survival. You come over here. These things explode when they die, so we're going to have to watch out for that. I need Kragus to start healing, though, before anything else. Go ahead and slash that spider down. Oh, there's 4 of them, dude? That's super bad. You move up to there. Yeah, get out of the AoE. You come down here. You move over to that side. Can you battle charge that far? You cannot. Okay, so come down here and then battle charge for me to stun that guy up. You give me rapid fire and then just get on that guy right there. You use an ointment real quick on your next turn. Oh, no. Well, that's not ideal. It's okay. He got the potion off, so we're going to be all right. You guys fight as hard as you can. Avoid damage where you can. I wasn't expecting a sneak attack right there. Sometimes new mobs will spawn behind you and they will run in after a conflict, so just watch out for that. Finish him off. There we go. Get out of there. Perfect. Okay. Little better that time. We're going through health potions at a rate that I feel like is a little bit too fast, but that's life. You guys rest and heal and chop stuff down inside the dungeon. Okay, that's all been done. Let's go ahead and gather everything up because we did have like a fire essence and some other goodies inside of here that I think are going to be helpful. You will find rare resources when you're down inside the dungeon from time to time that will let you make advanced gear that's like the equivalent of magically enchanted gear in something like Diablo, but for right now, we don't have that. Okay, on to the next room, and let's take this one slow. I believe we found the portal. Are there any bad guys in here with the portal? There are no bad guys in here with the portal. How close are we to leveling up? She's got 80 XP, he's got 73, she's got 64. We should probably hang in for another fight or two. She's kind of beat up right now. Does she have a salve? Use a salve real quick. Oh yeah, your gear has durability, so we're going to be recrafting gear every now and again. There's 2 golems inside that room. Honestly, that makes me feel a little bit nervous. I think we can handle 1 golem, but I don't think we can handle 2 golems. So let's head southwards, and then we'll cut off to the right, and we'll just kind of see where we land at here. If there's more guys inside of here, I think that'll work out reasonably well. I think I was supposed to buy a 4th adventurer before I left, because our cash hasn't gone up at all this entire time. You get rapid fire going, and then as soon as arrow rain's back up, go ahead and use that for me. Use that. I'm going to need a sweeping slash right there. We'll let the cooldown get... Oh, big explosion. Unfortunately, incredibly painful. Kragus caught it straight to the face. You get them with the vertical slash. Let's get a stun charge on that little dude right there. I want to see arrow rain, too, before we go any further. Drop an arrow rain right there. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, that worked out. You get out of there. Perfect. I don't know if we're going to catch a sneak attack on the back end of this, so just everybody oil up. Just grease yourself. Grease yourself liberally, just in case mobs spawn behind us, because that would be kind of a big problem. We still have more rooms that we can hit, but let's grab all these mana crystals first. Okay, we have the mana crystals. How much wood have I picked up while I'm inside of here? I have questions. We got 28 wood. How weighed down is everybody? Almost fully weighed down would be the answer to that question. I'm going to look for one more monster because Kragus needs 1 more XP. And that's like so little XP that I'd hate to leave it there. But it doesn't look like we actually have monsters in the next room. And I don't think we can handle this room right here. So I'm going to leave it alone for the time being. And we'll just chop down some trees real quick. And once the trees are all chopped down, we'll grab what little wood we have left over here. Because each tree gives us 4. And we're going to go on a lot of building when we get back to town. And so let's head for the portal. Let's get the hell out of here. And let's bank our loot. The portal awaits, brethren. Let us enter, so we can go deeper or we can return to base. I think it's a good idea to return to base right now. So let's return back, and then we'll see what we can accomplish once we've arrived here. They're going to bank up all the loot that we took out of the dungeon. First things first, I'm going to see who we have over here that I can potentially recruit. We do have Terran who has water magic. That's who I kind of want, is I want the guy with water magic. But we've got 2 guys that have the fire magic skill tree over here. Christopher's got the greatsword tree on this side, so he looks like he's up to something, but like we'll recruit him because he comes with a full suit of gear already, and so maybe we'll try to get him into like a 2-handed greatsword or something. Christopher has now joined the party, and I don't need to craft anything for him, which makes life a little bit easier. For now, we need everybody to gain their skills, and I think Christopher's going to be the only guy that doesn't have skills just yet. We're going to go with the greatsword tree on him. Increases the damage of the next melee skill by 100%, and your hit chance goes up by 30%. Or we can do... Destructive Split. Yeah, let's do that one right there. This attack can also damage allies. All right, I'll keep that in mind. And then this right here, it increases your critical hit chance when you defeat an enemy up to a maximum of 30% chance to crit. That actually sounds really good to me, so I'll take that. And then it's going to want me to do some other stuff. So before we do another dungeon run, what I would like to do is let's get some basic shelter set up. I don't know how many logs I have. How many logs do I have? I need to keep like sort of an eye on how many logs I have out here. We'll put like a little 6x6 up here, I guess. There we go. That'll do her. We'll put in a door on this side just so it's enclosed. And then we're going to need crafting workbenches, so I'll get a carpentry workstation right there. I will also get a research station right there because that's going to be important. And let's start with the processing of wood on this side, I think is what I would like to get. Yeah, let's get wood processing, and after we get wood processing, we'll get hunt processing. That way we can start to get more advanced gear. In the meantime, I'll probably craft up wooden helmets and wooden armor for everybody. That way we are a little bit safer. I also need to take a look at Liana and figure out how many arrows she has left. She has 40. Okay, so let's queue up a few more arrows too. So I'll throw like 50 more arrows on there for our next dungeon dive, but I want everybody to be equipped a little bit better before it gets hectic out here. And then likely the last thing that we want to do here is I think a goddess statue would be a really good idea. I don't know how we're looking on wood right now. I am actually flatly out of logs after making all this stuff. So unless I can eke out logs here on the island, it looks like I can get a little bit of log, big and round and wood. But it doesn't look like I can get too much, and I don't know if it's going to be enough for the planks that I need in order to make the wooden goddess statue, which is going to allow us to level up. So unfortunately, I should have gotten myself a lot more logs while I was inside the dungeon. The good news is we're going back into the dungeon pretty shortly. So what are you making right now? You're making arrows? Don't make any more arrows. And we've also got Christopher, his claymore, so he's actually using his specialty right now. Good stuff. All right, let's see if we can grab everybody, and it's time for us to go back into the portal. Next, let's do it. Okay, guys, so let's have a look around, and I think we should fare much better inside the dungeon this time around. Not only do we have much better equipment than we previously had last time, this time around on the block, we've also got another character, which should be a major force multiplier. It looks like the claymore actually hits like a truck, too. I'm not even having to use any special abilities. Hell yeah. That's the good stuff right there. All right, bear me forward. Let's see what else we can find out here inside of the dungeon. But this demo is actually really promising. I definitely think this deserves to be made from the tech demo that I've played so far. It needs a lot more complexity and it needs a lot more stuff, but I think the demo has done a fairly good job just sort of showing what it is that they're trying to make. Give me an arrow rain, like maybe right there. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. We got 2 spitter spiders in the back that we're going to have to concern ourselves with momentarily. Soon as we figure out the rats, you come back over here. You're a little bit wounded. Let them redistribute their aggro around to other places. Actually, you stay out of this entirely because they're going to blow up, and that concerns me. When they blow up, we're going to have to, like, get out of dodge very quickly. There we go. Perfect. I think this guy just ran back in and didn't even care. I love how she's firing her bow like a machine gun right now. I think Christopher has the lowest food at the moment, so he can have the hardtack that we just looted. Everybody else just like grab things that are laying around. This room looks like a good opportunity for us to get a little bit more wood. Yeah, there's nothing but a dead end back there. So let me rest everybody for a minute, and once they've all sufficiently rested, then we'll worry about the rest of the dungeon. All rested up and ready to ride. Let's get in here and cause some mayhem. Let's make some problems. You vertical slash that guy. The moment that you get an opportunity. What do you have going on? Whirlwind slash. If I move you over to here and we do that destructive split right there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was the good stuff right there. Hell yeah. You guys get out. Okay. Perfect. Another room knocked out. Ooh, we got rawhide too. We might be looking at some leather gear by the time we get out of here. I'm going to focus mostly on just grabbing trees, I think. Yeah, just grab trees and stuff while we're in here because the game wants me to have 30 logs. But there's definitely room. Ooh, open chest. What does the tree do? Ooh, it gave us a life essence. Hell yeah, okay, so there's special rooms that can spawn inside the dungeon too. And that's what I'm talking about here. Like, when they get this thing fleshed out with all the modifiers and all the interesting stuff that can happen in Darkest Dungeon mods and whatever, I think at that point they only really need the rimworld level to be superficial. I mean, obviously make it as complex and badass as you want to. More is always better. But as long as the RPG portion of this game gets fleshed on out, a little bit better spell effects, lots and lots of loot and randomized rooms that'll come up each time you're in the dungeon. You go over here. Oh no, you're the wrong person. Never mind. You go back over there. You come down right here. Get him with the vertical slash right there. Good stuff. You get him. Nope, not sweeping cleave. Vertical slash on him. Then you stun charge him. You come down here and give me rain of arrows on them while I'm waiting to see what happens next. You pull out. Stop eating hits. Stand your ground. Hold your position. Out. There we go. Perfect. Another room cleared. Looks like they auto-eaten stuff already too, which is good. He's way too beat up to just rest it off, so go ahead and use a salve on yourself, and then also pick up that apple right there and go ahead and eat the apple, I guess, if you're hungry. Actually, looks like eating gives us a little bit of health back, too. Okay, how many trees do I have down in here? I definitely want that mana. But to my closing thoughts after playing around with the game, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's an interesting idea. Obviously, this is a very early build that needs a lot more time in the oven. But I do think the idea of crossing almost like a real-time with pause Baldur's Gate style combat system with a colony survival game where you're going down into dungeons to grab things and rare drops that you can't get from the actual surface itself, from little prompts that I've seen inside the UI and whatnot, it looks like later on down the line you're going to be, I don't think it's implemented yet, I think it had a tag on it that said that, but you're going to be able to summon more land masses and clear out the oiliness and like the weird plants and whatnot from the overworld colony area by a certain means. I'll bet that means is more than likely going to be things that you pull out of dungeons that allow you to get more space to build. But I am definitely interested in adding this one to a wish list and giving it a year or two on the burner and just seeing what they come back with when it's ready. It's in very, very early primitive states right now, but I do think this is a good idea. I had fun with it. Obviously, there's lots of bugs. There was lots of little things that I saw, like characters sharing spaces. But frankly, I don't really think we need to do first impressions on this one because I don't think they're going to have it out and playable for a while. And so, like, just let them cook. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today on the chopping block, we are fooling around with a little game called Dungeon Settlers. Tomorrow to be something else. Bye, folks.